Hello, welcome to Z Marie Design. Let's create an upcycled men's tie Obi Belt, inspired by Mark Montano's Obi Belt tutorial. I'll leave a link in the description below. Here's a list of supplies you will need for this project. First, you'll take two ties right side up. They can be contrasting or they can complement one another. My black tie has a little blue inside. I'll use the white fabric for my background. First, you'll lay your ties crisscrossing one another, making sure that the end of the one tie there touches that one and the end of the other tie touches that. I'll show you at the end what will happen if they aren't touching. Put some pins in place just to hold it. You can make it crisscross as wide or as narrow as you like, as long as those two end pieces are touching. The tie on the top and the tie on the bottom. That's what it looks like from the back. So on the wrong side of your background fabric, and you can choose any type of background fabric that you like. This is just a white cotton that I have. And on the wrong side of the fabric, you're going to lay down your ties and you're going to outline that shape of your ties. And on the part that's going to be the top part of the tie there and the bottom part of the tie, I just usually mark up to where the point of the previous tie is. You can go as far up as you like with your fabric, or as low down as you like. I just make sure that it's just even with the point. You'll see what it looks like in a minute. So I'm just closing up that part of the marking there. And you see you have that X. That's the shape of your ties that you have. So your next step is to mark about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm just eyeballing this around the entire shape there that you have. That'll be your cutting line. Next, you'll cut this out on your 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. And after everything is cut out, this is what it should look like. And you see that you have the seam allowance there. I just lay my ties on the top just to check to make sure that I have the right shape. So the fabric is still, the background fabric is still wrong side up. Next, you're going to cut into your angles right up to that first marked line that you have. So just snip right into those angles. And you'll make adjustments later when it's time for us to pin the background together. So next, fold over your seam allowance and you're going to press all the way around your seam allowance. And once you press your seams, again, your fabric is still right side up. And you see where you snipped into it in order for it to press the seam allowance a little bit closer. Lay your ties on the top. And this is where you'll make any adjustments that are necessary if you need to cut into that angle further. Now at this point, your background fabric, you can choose to have it show if you like. I don't want my background fabric to show, so I'm going to make sure that it's pressed and folded in really closely. So if I have to make any additional snips to fold that seam allowance in so that it doesn't show, I'll do that. I then flip my ties over, and I want my ties right side down because I'm going to pin from the back, because I'm going to sew from the back. And I'm sewing it from the back because I want to make sure that I'm getting in that background fabric. I don't want it to shift on me. And put in as many pins as you feel is necessary. I do a lot of pinning on this because, again, I don't want that background fabric to shift when I move over to my sewing machine. You can see where we did that side fold where we connected it to make sure that it comes down even with the point. You could have that part. That'll part of your tie. You could have that to go, that white fabric to background fabric to go up as far as you like or as short as you like. And I'm making sure to fold my background fabric in. And just take your time on this part to get it just the way you want it to look. Now this belt, the way it's designed, you can wear it on either side. You can wear it on either side of the belt. It's a reversible belt. That's why when you're choosing your background fabric, you can choose a fabric that you want to show. So once I turned it to the front and I see that a little piece is sticking up there in that little angle, I'm going to fold it down further and place another pin, and just double checking my other angle as well, and folding in those sides. Once you have all of your pins in place, now it's time for you to go to your sewing machine. But before I go to my sewing machine, I'm going to take out my pins on the front part where we did our temporary piece of pinning there. So next, at my sewing machine, I'm going to sew around the edge of my background fabric first, and I'm going to use a blanket stitch on this. You can use a straight stitch or even a zigzag if you like, but I'm going to sew around that first. Then I'm going to mark a 1/4 inch seam allowance from the end of the background fabric, and I'm just going to keep going around, following and echoing the pattern that's already there, that shape, until I get all the way to the center of the background fabric. You see I've sewn around the edge. That way I can take my pins out as I do my echo stitch. And you have to do the echoing stitch because your ties are not secure at this point. So just following along. You can sew this from the front, but again, I'm going to sew it from the back just because I can see that echoing a lot better. And I used blue thread to match my blue ties so that the thread wouldn't show so much from the front, but you can see the quilting on there. And I just did an echo stitch all the way around the pattern until I got to the center. And this project, it goes together fairly quickly. A great way to upcycle men's ties. You have a significant other in your life with some extra ties, or even you can visit some of our secondhand stores and retrieve some ties. And this is what it looks like once it's all done. And it crisscrosses in the back and it ties in the front. And it really offers a really nice corseted kind of look, this Obi Belt, and can be worn with a variety of things. So I just have it here on my dress form to show you. And that's what it looks like from the back. You just crisscross it in the back. And this is what it'll look like if you don't have those ends touching. It'll still work. It'll still tie just like before. But you'll have two little puckers that stick out if those ends, that edge doesn't touch. It kind of pokes out. You can push it in and tie it, but I had to learn that one the hard way. I still wear it just as is because I have a black skirt that I like to wear it with. So I haven't taken all the stitching out and restitched it. But anyone that I do from then on, I make sure to do it the right way. And this is with an upcycled men's pants that I turned into a skirt that I wear my upcycled men's tie Obi Belt with. And it cinches in, and I also have an oversized skirt and an oversized shirt with my skirt that I also wear an Obi Belt with. And it really cinches in the waist. So I hope you like this project, and pop on over to Mark Montano's channel and to see how he upcycles his men's ties into Obi Belts. Thanks for watching.